All right.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Persuasion by the Pint. I'm Jonathan Taylor, along with.
Sean McCool and Jonathan, you sound a little bit different today. So you're on location on the road, I guess. Not on location, but on the road.
Yeah, so I am currently at the Eaglewood Spa and Resort, just
Nice.
outside of Chicago, Illinois. So I'm here for a little industry networking event that's taking place. I don't know why they do this over the weekend, but that's how they've done it the last couple of years. It's a little frustrating for me, but
Yeah. Yeah, you'd
I
rather
just
have a day off from the office, right? Instead of
yeah, exactly,
burning a
exactly.
weekend.
And if I'm going to come up here, I mean, it's actually it's a nice location for golf. So, but if the
Uh,
weather was nice, it was raining earlier today, but it's cleared up here. I think the sun's out. So, but I didn't bring the sticks, so
yeah.
I'm not playing today. So,
Well,
but but I got to tell you, Sean, I hate to bash on hotel change or hotels and resorts, but if I were writing a prompt for AI and I asked it to give me all the things that you don't want in a hotel, I think everything that it would spit back to me would be exactly what's with this hotel.
wow. That is
So
not a 5-star review there.
if you want to make it difficult for your patrons to find the hotel, because there's two. I mean, this resort is spread out over. It feels like a 10-mile radius,
Oh wow.
and so they connect you to one area of the hotel, and it's cool though because. Like I said, if you want people to not find the elevator to the hotel, what you do is you design it so the elevator matches, like really blends in with the wall and the surroundings, so you really
Yeah.
can't see it. You just walk right by it,
Yeah.
and then you get trapped in this little maze that you walk around for several minutes, looking like an idiot until you find your way around.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. Maybe they
just
want
my
you. Yeah. Maybe they want you wandering by the gift shop or the bar or something.
I did actually wandered by the gift shop and
There
picked
you
up
go.
my beverage.
Yeah.
So that's one good thing.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not trying to bash the place, but it's crazy how this place is laid out. You'll walk forever. It's not like a high rise. I mean, it's got like 7 floors, but it's spread out. So I mean, it's amazing how spread out this thing is. You'll walk quite a distance from the main
Yeah.
lobby area.
I wonder if it's like a former timeshare or something like that, or
Could have been.
yeah, sounds like maybe it
The
is.
golf course looks nice, but
Yeah, you can always rent clubs.
that's right.
If the
Yeah, that's
meetings
true.
if the meetings go downhill, you can always rent a pair of clubs or set of clubs.
That might be a possibility tomorrow. We'll see how
Yeah.
things go.
All right. Well, let's we've got an kind of a fun little flight of persuasion today. We're going to talk about panic marketing, specifically around AI. We may have to rename
Absolutely.
the show AI by the Pint. I don't know at some point.
I tell
um,
you, it's topic of conversation. It's top of
it's
mind. Everybody's talking about it right now. So
Yeah. So we'll talk about how the two sides kind of panic marketing around AI.
mhm.
And we're going to talk about some humor in emails. I found a really interesting article from HubSpot about funny emails. And I'm going to share some what I think is fairly mind-blowing AI that is, well, I'm just going to save it for the end, but it's kind of mind-blowing and fun at the same time. And I was actually doing a training today to some clients. And I told them, you know what, treat these tools as toys and not tools. Like,
Mhm.
just have fun with them. And I think you'll have better results from them than trying to like find the perfect prompts and
Sure.
all this stuff. Just start playing like it's a fun, like it's a game with a code that you're trying to crack, from at
Right.
least from a copy standpoint.
Are
Like
they getting stressed? Were they getting stressed about?
yeah, and they're trying to craft the perfect prompt,
Oh, okay.
instead
Yeah.
of just like looking to it and playing with it.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you saw my post on Facebook, but last weekend I was in an event and we were doing some woo-woo stuff we were doing for my coaching side of my life. And we were doing like these intuition practice things. And one guy was like, you kind of give me this Morpheus vibe. Like, I think you should do some research on Morpheus and like really go into that, for the Matrix. I was like, okay, cool. I could be compared to worse things. So that's not bad at all. That's pretty cool, actually.
No. He's kind of a cool character in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was a compliment for sure. But I went into Chat GPT and I just said, give me an analysis of Morpheus. And it gave me a really good analysis. And I was like, I want to attack this from a different angle. And I said, pretend you're an FBI profiler and give me your workup on Morpheus. Sure enough, it was just like a dossier, like just, associated members, like all this stuff. And then I said, okay, let's see what else it could do. And then I was like, be a Jungian trained psychologist and give me a breakdown based on that. Spit it out. And then I did like, pretend you're fictional character Sherlock Holmes and analyze Morpheus from the Matrix. And it knocked it out. And every one of them had its voice. I mean, it was just absolutely really cool. And that's kind of a teaser of what I'm going to talk about at the end. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's a fun little toy to start playing with if you're not already playing with it. So instead of taking it so seriously, because there is a lot of like tension around it right now, I think if people like just play with it a little bit, I think you'll get a lot further with it.
Yeah, I think people are stressing just because, like you said, they don't know how they want to prompt it the perfect way.
Right.
And they feel, I think there's also this fear of this FOMO thing that's going around now where, people fear if they don't jump into it right away, they're going to get left behind, so to speak. And so they're like, we got to do it for this, or we got to do it for, I hear this kind of feedback like, oh my gosh, it's just overwhelming. And I'm afraid if I don't jump into it, then I'm going to be trailing behind.
Yeah. So then you're going into it with this like fear and this, I got to get it perfect. I got to figure it out today.
Yeah.
And if you go in a little more playful and treat it as a toy, I think it's a lot more fun. And got great feedback on the training today. They were like, yeah, that makes it a lot easier. So,
right.
All right, well, let's jump into our beverages. I know you've got something there from the hotel gift shop. Can't wait to hear what that is.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. I'm heading up to my room and there's a little gift shop off to the side. So I'm looking, the only thing that I see in their cooler that's not a, domestic, standard
Bud Light.
I mean, Heineken, Dos Equis. There is one, and this is actually a local here in Illinois. It is a Two Brothers Artesian Brewing, Domaine Dupage. It's probably be easier if I just pull up the this one. Yep. Two Brothers. It's they're based out of Illinois. I'm not sure what part, but at least I've got something that's a local beer. 6.2, not too bad. It's got a 86 rating on Beer Advocate, so we'll see. I've never heard of this one before, but it's
what kind is it? Does it say what
it's
kind?
It's just a French. It's called a French Country Ale. So
okay.
I don't know I've never had a French Country Ale.
It's got to be in the Belgian ale family, right? Kind of like a
possibly
Sam Adams or something like that, maybe not Sam Adams, but one of those. All right. Well, I'm next. So I've already had this one. Full disclosure, buddy came over Wednesday night. We cracked the moat, couldn't resist. So I'm going to see your 6.2 and raise it by 5.8.
Wow.
And go with a 12% ABV. It's called Death by Chocolate from Martin House Brewing. It is a stout imperial double pastry.
Wow.
And it's the can is really cool.
Death by Chocolate Cake. Ooh,
yeah, it's called Death by Chocolate Cake. It is stout with lactose and chocolate cake and vanilla cream flavors. There's the skull on the back side of the can.
Nice.
Just I'm gonna have to get that tattoo. Actually, that's pretty good.
That is pretty cool.
So I've already got a score kind of picked out, so I'm pretty sure. But we'll cheers it up and see where you're at.
Yep. Cheers. No
Cheers.
sound effects
Ching.
today.
Ching.
You know, Sean, I almost thought about dragging out on the patio. It's got a nice little patio here and trying to do a setup, but it's just took too much work. It'd be nice to sit out there with a beer.
Yeah. You can sit out there afterwards, get you a second or third beer.
Yep.
All right. Well, how's the local beer treating you?
I'm gonna give it another sip. Let me give it a fair shake here. Very smooth.
Yeah.
I like it.
There you go.
I like it. So I'm going to give this one a. It's got a nice. It's kind of a sweet, not too sweet aftertaste. Very, very mellow. I'm going to give this one a 4. I'm going to give it a 4.2. I like it.
Solid.
It's very good. Very good.
That's pretty solid for a gift shop beer right there.
That's I can't complain at all. I was expecting a 3 to a 3.5 level. Yeah, exactly.
The old snack shop bridge.
This is very good. So kudos to the 2 brothers out there.
Yeah. Well, I've had this before. Like I said, I had it Wednesday night. It is thick, like a good imperial stout should be. But at 12%, it does not have that really cough syrupy finish like I thought it might. It actually has a pretty clean finish, and it tastes exactly like chocolate cake to me. Like the chocolate is like just perfect.
Yeah.
So even though we're not on the soundboard today, I'm going with the big number. Give it a 5.0.
Wow, man. I can't.
I even debated like, well, we don't have the soundboard, so should I do 4.99? But it's just it deserves a 5. I can't just because we don't have the sound effects doesn't mean I got to go with it. It's that good.
No, you should have saved that one. I mean, I got it, but kudos. Anything with Death by Chocolate Cake.
Yeah, I mean,
it's got to be good.
It's got to be pretty good. So, and it is. It's very.
So good. It's not too. It doesn't. It's not too over. It's not. 12%. I'm just thinking it's not overly sweet.
No, it's definitely sweet. I mean, you wouldn't want to drink this in July on the boat. It's kind of thick. But it's got the best. Sometimes there's chocolate in there, and you kind of taste the chocolate or whatever. But this is like, it's like sticking your finger in a bowl of chocolate icing. Right after you made the cake, and there's icing left in the bowl, and like licking it off your finger. That's what it tastes like.
Ooh,
so nice. It's like sweet, but it's the right kind of sweet. It's not that cough syrupy, too much alcohol sweet. So excellent. Yeah. Well, good stuff.
Solid. I'll have to find it. I mean, tell me again where you got it.
This was HEB, but it's Martin House Brewing out of Fort Worth, Texas. So semi-local for sure. All right. Well, let's so I've signed up for a couple AI newsletters in the past week, trying to just keep up with, stuff. And one of the ones I came up with, they had an article, and it was talking about how there's 2 camps. There's a lot of panic around AI in general, a lot of fear, a lot of panic.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting is you're hearing it from OpenAI, who's the leader right now in AI, right? The CEO of Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, who made ChatGPT. He's out there in the media on a regular basis talking about how scary this is, how powerful it is. There's no telling what it could do. And, he's like, you should be scared. If you're not a little bit scared, we're a little bit scared. Like all these little clips, that you're like, why would the founder and the CEO like talk about his product like that? Like, it seems like it would be inviting regulation. It would be inviting all this other stuff. Right.
Sure. Right.
And then on the other side, you have the doomsday prophets that are starting to launch their products around the panic and the prepper type stuff or the doom and gloom financial newsletters, those kind of guys, but in the AI space, right? Because when I wrote financial newsletter copy, there were some guys that were just kind of more, here's your picks, here's what's cool coming up. And then you had your Harry Dents where the world was ending, next quarter.
Right.
For the last 25 years. Never did. Hasn't been right yet.
Nope.
The few times he thought
he's made a lot of money off of those predictions.
So there's a couple guys in the AI space that are taking that Harry Dent type position, and just they're doing seminars, they're writing books, they're going on the shows, and they're using panic to sell their stuff, and it seems to be working. They're getting lots of press. They're getting people buying their books. I'm sure there's all kinds of. I think we're going to see a huge surge in like prepper gear, survival gear, in case AI takes over or we get these AI cyber attacks. So I think you'll see a resurgence in that.
Yeah.
I think some of those companies that have been fairly flat recently, because, we've had the economy, but we haven't had like end of the world type stuff we had with the pandemic. And before that, the riots, or during that, I guess the riots, like they would sell the prepper and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I think that's back. I think that's coming back.
Yeah.
But that's kind of expected, right? I mean, I would expect that from that side. The more interesting one to me is the CEO of OpenAI kind of spreading the panic idea. And you tell me what you think about this, Jonathan, but basically the article said it's actually a way to increase sales, because the underlying kind of the subtext is this is powerful. It's so powerful it can change the world, right? So it's like, well, who doesn't want to play with that tool, right?
Sure.
Even if it is scary, there's a large percentage of the population that want to get their hands on anything that's that powerful.
Absolutely.
So the more powerful and scary he makes it, the more people want to figure out how to tame it.
Yeah.
At least half the world. The other half the world's running and hiding and buying their rations and their MREs, right?
Right.
Or when the power goes out.
So, but who are the people that you're attracting? Yeah. And think about who the people that he's attracting are. The people that they're risk takers, right? And
early adopters,
risk takers, and they also typically they have capital to invest, and they want to invest in something and take a risk. They're probably the same people that are jumping into crypto and every other thing that's nuanced, that they have invested heavily in. So,
well, we haven't even seen that yet, right? With AI, like right now we're in this. That's what's interesting about crypto compared to this in the last 5 years. Crypto is very much. I mean, there was definitely the people who are like, "This is going to replace money." And I was talking to Ben Blackman about this earlier.
Yeah,
and I was like, the difference is if everybody adopted crypto tomorrow, it wouldn't change most of how we live on a day-to-day basis. Right?
No.
Maybe some institutions get shaken up a little bit, maybe. But for the most part, it doesn't change my job, my career. Doesn't change a lot of that stuff, I don't think. And if I'm missing something, let me know in the comments, but whatever. But man, if everybody adopted AI tomorrow, it radically changes the world and the workforce and everything else. So I think that's the difference. And I think also, like, crypto has been largely speculation, money making at this point, where AI, it feels like more people are actually trying to use the tool. Now, give it another 6 months to a year when people start going public with AI companies, and you're going to see a whole new level of speculation on the AI tech boom. But for now, it seems like it's very tool centric. Yeah,
I would agree. But think about the fear. And we talked about this in the past. One of the things that comes to mind is the old Alfred Hitchcock. Remember, we've talked about this in the past. He stoked a lot of fear in order to drive mass audience. I mean, his early films. What is it, Psycho?
Yeah.
What did he say? He said, we'll have nurses out, and just in case anyone suffers a heart attack. And,
So
they put all of these precautions out, and he knew
Yeah.
exactly what he was doing. It was all completely staged.
Right.
But there was a purpose behind it, because people are attracted to things that are, well, there's a certain segment of the population that are generally attracted to things that can, make them fearful, right? I mean,
Well, they're looking for that dopamine rush, the adrenaline rush, whatever,
absolutely
whichever
something
chemical it is,
absolutely something very new that can be very scary at the same time. This is, to me, it's just a brilliant way of as how Hitchcock did when he said, obviously, don't show up to this film if you have a certain if you're have a certain level of physical condition, if you have heart problems.
They do that on roller coasters, right? All the roller coasters have
absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
And I think that started out exactly what you're talking about. I think now it's probably like disclaimers and legal reasons, but I think in the beginning, those signs did start out as a subconscious, like,
sure, in his day,
fear. Yeah,
right, absolutely. In his day, it was all. I mean, staging nurses out front is completely. I mean, that's
awesome.
Yeah, I mean that stokes it right there, completely. And I think these guys know exactly what they're doing. They're framing it in a way that obviously they want a segment. They don't want everybody. They want a segment that are risk takers, that are going to spend money, and those are the kind of. I mean, that's a segment of the population. But there's, like you said, Sean, there's all segments that are taking advantage of this. People are marketing against it. People are marketing. I see courses right now that are, how to make courses with AI, how to do everything with AI now. And it's creating a whole new industry of people that are teaching, just like.
Yeah, it's the picks and the shovels, right? There's a gold rush. You can go after the gold, or you can sell the picks and shovels.
Right.
And, the smart people, sell picks and shovels. It's not a bad way to go.
That's right.
So our friend Chris O'Hearn is watching on Facebook. He made an interesting point here. He said the other thing about Hitchcock was the shower scene is they never showed the actual violence. He got it close enough where your mind added in the violence, the imagination. I think that's a good point, because it feels like Sam Altman's kind of doing the same thing. He's not getting as descriptive as like the guys that are pushing the books and the guys that are taking the other side. He's just saying it's really scary. Like, we're not sure what it can do, right? So to your point, Christopher,
he's leaving that to your imagination.
Yeah.
What could that mean?
More powerful.
And for everybody, that means something else. I mean, for the doomsdayers, that's like this is it. Everything. I mean, this is Terminator come to reality. Skynet.
Yeah. So that's a great point. Like, taking people up to a certain point and then just letting their imagination run wild, because that's far more powerful than anything you could ever say or write.
Right.
You just got to lead them in that direction, and then their brain will take them the rest of the way, especially around fear.
Well, and if you recall, what was it, some 20 years ago during Y2K, we had similar things, prognosticators laying out not specific scenarios, but what could be. Leaving, I remember all of those. I mean, you probably do. I'm sure you do, Sean. Those.
Oh yeah. Did you guys hunker down or anything, or did you just?
No. I was I was about to get married, and I didn't have two nickels to rub together anyway, so it wasn't much what I was going to do.
We actually, because we were living in, if my wife's listening, she'll correct me. I think we were living in. I guess we were in Mississippi or Dallas. No, I guess we were in Dallas at the time. Had just moved to Dallas. Yeah, we were in Dallas at the time.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty big city. And we're like, well, if things do go crazy, we don't want to be here.
Yeah.
So we actually went up to her parents' farm in central PA. And we packed up the dog, packed up a bunch of stuff in the old Saab 9000.
Oh, wow.
And drove up there. And I remember we were prepared. Like, we may have to stay here for weeks. We don't know. And I remember sitting up watching. That year they showed time zone by time zone, like all the New Year's Eve parties, and it started over in New Zealand.
Yeah,
because they were the first to turn, and like as soon as they like turned and nothing went crazy, their lights didn't go out. We were like, like there's like a real like fear around all that stuff. Like we had filled up some water bottles, like the whole bit, you know.
That's right.
And I was nervous because we had a guy in the office I was working in at the time whose full-time job was rewriting the code for the entire computer system for the company for like a whole year leading up to, you know, the year 2000. Like all of 1999, he was in his little office. He's probably doing nothing. I mean, you know, probably got a huge contract, really didn't do anything. Right. But I remember him always in there, and he was working, and it was like, well, this must be like real. If a company's hired a guy full time to rewrite the code, it must be real. And to this day, I don't know. I don't know if it was the real thing or if it was just, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Chris was partying.
Yeah.
He was partying to some Prince.
Chris, you were like 5 at the time. I don't know if you were. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, anything else you want to cover on panic? We can move on to emails after that.
No, I think it's brilliant though. I think on both sides, it's so interesting. There'll always be a segment of the population that you can certainly sell fear to, and in either case, you know, fear of what could happen, fear of the after effects, whether it's Skynet scenarios or, you know, the preppers out there who said, you know, we just need to hunker down, you know, and there's so much that's going on right now. Not only is it like there's a fear of AI, but there's also we're being sold fear on so many other things like inflation, recession, war with China, and heck, all of those things are, you know, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, and there's an agenda behind all of it.
Exactly.
There's an
if you don't understand, it's like we had a comment, I think on one of our recent shows on the YouTube channel that I couldn't resist, Sean, replying to a comment on, it was very political, but I said, man, if you don't understand whether it's the right side of the media or the left side of the media, they both have a very specific agenda, and they're paid by their sponsors, and they have agenda just like every other company out there is to sell you concern on one side of the aisle or the other. So
yeah, I mean, fear holds your attention just biologically. Fear holds your attention better than anything else.
Yep.
Right. It's way we're wired biologically. And they, you know, it's why the Weather Channel does so well when bad storms come through, right? Everybody's glued to the Weather Channel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Their sponsorships go through the roof. Their, you know, their revenue from ads go through the roof. Like, you know, if there's a hurricane, people are glued to it. You know, even people that aren't in the path. Like we just got to know what's going on.
That's right.
So the advertising dollars.
If it leads, it leads. Yeah.
Yeah. If you can track the advertising dollars, I mean, that's just the world we live in right now. That's usually at the bottom of, you know, pretty much everything.
Sure.
All right. For those of you listening on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch, I did put a link to the article that we're talking about. I'm also going to share it on the screen for the video viewers. And for you listeners, I will talk about it. But some of these have memes in it, so you might want the link for later to kind of look through them. But these are, I was playing around with one of the chat things, and I'm going to show it here in a minute after we go through these. And going back to the whole idea of being more playful with it. So I was just, after the training I did today, I was just like, let me just play around. Like, and it reminded me that some of the best emails I've ever written were very like playful, silly, and they got tons of feedback, like in a good way. And, you know, because I think there's a vulnerability when you send out something like that. And we'll show an example here in a minute that like people appreciate and you build rapport when you're vulnerable.
I agree.
It's something you'd send to a friend, but maybe not, you know, I wouldn't do that professionally. But when you do it professionally, it breaks a lot of ice, right? If you're the first guy in a tense meeting to crack a joke,
Mm-hmm.
Like it just, everybody relaxes, right?
Right. You can just feel it.
Yeah.
Just tension.
Yeah. What's the, what was that? Summer School with Mark Harmon, and was it Spicoli?
Mm-hmm.
And they were taking the test, and he lets out this huge scream, and he was like, tension breaker had to be done. It's one of my favorite scenes. That's the only scene I remember from that movie, but
right.
Like, that's brilliant. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. So these are I found this on HubSpot. I was just like, I wonder if, like, has anybody really researched like funny but effective emails, sales emails specifically, you know, not just content emails, but sales emails. Jonathan, you're going to love these. Okay. So let me share my screen here. So let's scroll down to the first one, the funny sales pitch, right? They reference Cialdini's latest book. Yes. Here, but here's and this reminds me of the big card you send out, right?
Oh, yeah.
So this says, hi, prospect name. Some salespeople are all about how you can help them. And then it's got a Dilbert cartoon that kind of makes the point. And it says, but I'm interested in your objectives and working with similar companies, blah, 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 blah. But the cartoon is the icebreaker, right? Here's the not taking yourself so seriously. So the cartoon is, our goal is to ship 1 million units this quarter. Do we have any goals that involve making customers happy? I'm talking about our goals, not their goals. Totally different.
That's right? Good.
Which is, you know, how most, you know, Jonathan, for you, how probably most purchasing managers feel about you walking in the door, right? It's
absolutely,
you know, that's their frame. So when you just put that out on the table, you disarm them immediately. So this was another one. This is the we're all set or no thanks. So this is like you're trying to get them to move that step forward.
Right.
And it's just kind of stuck in stalemate. So this literally says, hi, prospect name. And then it's got the meme that says, are you sure it's, who's that? What's his name?
Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean. That's right. With the face only Mr. Bean can make. And then it says, best your name. So it's basically like somebody's giving you a no, or somebody's not responded. And you're going to give it one last ditch Hail Mary type effort. This is that email. And literally it's just hi name, the meme, and then the signature. I think it's brilliant.
I'm using that. I'm for sure
using
that. I'm stealing that one. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So here's
the thing. What do you have to lose? I mean, if you've gone time and time, I've told you some of the emails that I've said like are the one of the ones that I use. Have you given up on this? You know, have you given up on this project?
Right.
That's kind of one of those last resorts, but I'm going to use this one too.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Here's the witty email to differentiate yourself from other salespeople and hopefully make the buyer laugh. Send them a tongue-in-cheek sales email as a follow-up to a compelling event. So let's say you went to a trade show or something like that, and you're following up, right? So the subject line is prospect name, I hate sales emails. And then you say, yes, I'm sending you one right now, but in my defense, it's because you requested more information, you know, what opted in, put your name in the fishbowl at the trade show, whatever. If you're not interested in whatever, please let me know so I can stop being a hypocrite. Seriously, every time I click send, it pains me. Help stop my suffering and find a time on my calendar here.
That's good.
Right? I mean, it's just,
yeah.
You know, we've said it time and time again. If you don't take yourself so seriously, it really resonates with people.
People appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because they're always, you know, people are always on the defensive, like, okay, you know, how do I get this guy? And if you act like you don't care,
it's almost like being a pickup artist, right? For business.
No,
it'd be a great name for a book.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The business pickup artist or something. That'd be funny.
It's definitely a form of what I consider. I always use the word takeaway selling. It's almost like you really don't care, right? I mean, so you've kind of reversed it by saying.
Yeah. And I had a coach
just being clever.
Yeah, and I had a coach one time tell me, when we were talking about, you know, enrolling clients and things like that in the life coaching business, he's like, you have to come from this place that
you don't need it.
You don't need that client. You need a client.
But you don't
need that client.
That
client,
right?
You just need a client. It doesn't matter which one it is.
Right.
And if you just keep in the game and you keep sending emails, you keep having calls, you're going to get somebody, right? But as soon as you get attached to having that person, that's when you get commission breath. And
that's right.
Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
So this one's called the clever email. Here's the lead in. Walking around the conference floor isn't usually the most scintillating activity in the world. Use this template to provoke your prospect's curiosity and make a conversation with you seem more fun than a typical booth chat. So this could be like you're at an event, you've got a list, you know they're there. You're going to send them this maybe during the event, so they come by your booth right at a trade show.
Gotcha.
So it says the subject line is cheer salesperson up at conference. Okay, so this would be like cheer Jonathan up at whatever conference you're at. So this event this weekend, right?
Okay.
Hey, prospect name, saw you were involved with, whatever organization. I'm curious if you're going to the conference. We'd love to meet up with your team. I know one guy on my team would especially love to meet up. And then there's a GIF of a guy like throwing rocks into the water, just pure boredom. Want to book a quick side meeting?
Is that the sales guy that wants to meet?
Yeah. And it's interesting. Like he's got like a company shirt on. So like if you actually went out and took this video with your like company shirt, it'd be kind of cool. Yeah. So it's like want to book a quick side meeting or swap some text and meet up at our booth. Your
That's
name.
good. Yeah. I like that.
And then a nickname. It says this will make sense when you come to the booth. So, yeah, these are, they're just, they're just lighthearted. They're just fun. There's 11 of them here on the link that I put in the comments section. So this one's called, so this is the lighthearted email. Traditional guilt tripping doesn't work. Your prospect will be far likelier to reschedule if you make a lighthearted reference to the no-show. Well, this is if you got no-showed, right? And the subject line is just like Ross Geller's prom night. So you want to make sure you're sending this to somebody who's, probably over 30.
Yeah, familiar. Yeah.
Over 30, 35, 40 maybe.
And watch Friends.
Yeah, probably have watched Friends. Or at least know the name. But when they see the picture, they'll recognize it too.
Yeah.
Anything that says I don't care whose prom night it was. If it just said just like anybody's prom night, that's a different email. It says, hey, prospect name, we haven't been able to reschedule our meeting, and it's reminded me a lot of when Rachel stood up Ross on prom night.
Right.
And then there's a picture of Ross at prom night looking sad.
That's good.
Jokes aside, I was curious if you're still interested in putting time back on the calendar for us to discuss strategies for achieving X goal or outcome. Here's my calendar, blah, blah, blah. Just let me, and I like that he went back to the humor at the end. If you're simply not interested anymore, not a problem. Just let me know so I can return my tuxedo.
That's pretty good. I like that.
So they segued away from the humor and then they came back to it, which I think is really, that's good.
I like that one.
Yeah, bring it full circle. These are all really good.
Yeah, they're very good. How did how did you find these?
It's just a lucky Google search, man.
Wow.
Just found it.
That's great.
So this one is the hilarious email to a prospect who ghosted, right? So this is kind of the similar thing, or they just vanished on you after a series of calls, right? Kind of like the email you were talking about before. They started to disappear on you. Hello from the other side is the subject line. Hello, prospect. You know where this is going, right?
Oh yeah.
Hello, prospect name. I must have called 1,000 times, and then there's a picture of Adele.
Yeah.
On a more serious note, last time we talked about pain and how product could help drive X results, accomplish X goals over a specific time frame. Are you still interested in continuing our discussion? If not, please let me know so I can stop blasting Adele.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
This would have been more timely about, probably 3 years ago, about the time, 3 or 4 years ago when it was very popular. But most people would remember that,
Wait till we get to the next segment here in just a few minutes.
Okay.
So the Fun Friday email. No matter where you work, the office feels different on Friday. Everyone's a little more relaxed, a little less uptight. Take advantage of this mood and shoot your prospect a Friday-themed message that won't hurt their ears. So here's the It's Friday is the subject line. Hi, prospect name. I bet the subject line made you think there'd be a Rebecca Black GIF video inside this email, but I wouldn't do that to you. The real reason I'm reaching out is to ask about your strategy for X, blah, 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 blah. After the weekend, of course, are you free Monday next week?
That's good.
It's just, again, it's just kind of meeting people where they are. We've talked about this.
Absolutely.
This one's kind of cool. The fill in the blanks email. Just need to get them to open the email in order to pique their interest. Try this template to open a conversation with a prospect. Subject line, a puzzle for you. Body copy, hey there, prospect name. And then it's got L blank T blank blank. It's hard to do on a podcast here. CH. Basically, it's let's chat this week. With fill in the blanks, right? So it's kind of a puzzle. Were you able to fill in my puzzle? Correct answer is, drum roll, let's chat this week. I know you're busy, but I'd love the opportunity to learn more about your goals and share how I can help you meet them. Book some time here. So it's just your neighborhood Pat Sajak sign off.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
It's just like it slows them down enough to like, what is that? And then they
pattern interruption. Absolutely.
It's all these are just pattern interrupts. That's really all they are.
Yeah.
And you could probably come up with, 5 or 6 different ones based on this.
These are good. I like that.
All right. You ready for the mind-blowing AI segment?
Yes. Yeah. Drum roll.
All right. Whew. I feel like I've been talking a lot since you're on the road. All right. So in one of the newsletters I signed up for, there's another chat, and it's called chat.forefront AI. I will put it in the comments section.
Okay.
You can sign up super quick using your, old Google as a sign up. So that's pretty cool, right? So here's what's kind of unique about this one. It comes preloaded with personas. So check this out. It comes with personas preloaded. You can choose from people like both fictional and real characters, like Dexter, like Jar Jar Binks, Bron
Who would want to be
Stoppable.
that guy?
Yeah, I haven't tried that one yet. Wonder Woman. There's some in here I don't even know who they are. There's cartoon characters. There's Boris Johnson is on here. Kermit the Frog, Thanos. One we're actually gonna use to. I'm gonna show you a couple that I've used. Mark Twain, Jocko Willink, Joe Rogan, Star-Lord is on here.
Yeah,
that's the one
I see Superman.
Yeah, Superman. Like there's quite a few on here. Ben Franklin. So it's pretty cool because it's just preloaded. You just click one and then you start a message. So I've already done a couple. So I'm gonna pick. This was Star-Lord's offer. So, I click this one and it automatically says, "Hey, Star-Lord." And he says, "Hey there, Star-Lord, at your service, legendary outlaw and leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy. What can I do for you, my friend? Need some sweet tunes or help saving the universe?" So here's what I said. I was thinking of you, Jonathan. So I said, I need a cold email to a buyer in the composites manufacturing industry. I'm a sales rep looking for a first appointment. How would you write the email? Feel free to work in some 80s music lyrics. Right? So here's what he came up with.
Don't stop.
Subject: don't stop believing.
Little journey
in the future of composites manufacturing. Hey, buyer's name. I hope this email finds you grooving like a smooth criminal. I'm Star-Lord, a sales rep from your company, and I've got a feeling that your composites manufacturing solutions are going to rock your world like a hurricane. You see, we've been working hard to develop some out-of-this-world products that'll make your manufacturing process more efficient than a DeLorean hitting 88 miles per hour. Our cutting-edge technology is designed to help you save time, reduce costs, and produce higher-quality composites that'll have your competitors wondering, how can I get my hands on that sweet, sweet tech? Now, I know you're a busy person, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I'd love the opportunity to chat with you about how our solutions can help you take your composites manufacturing to new heights. How about we schedule a first appointment to discuss your needs and explore the final countdown to your success? If you're interested, just hit me back with a date and time that works for you, and we'll get this party started. In the meantime, feel free to check out our website to learn about our product and service. Remember, buyer's name. We built this city on rock and roll, and together we can make your composites manufacturing dreams come true. Looking forward to hearing from you soon. Best regards, Jonathan Taylor, Starlord of Sales. P.S. If you ever need of an awesome mixtape to get you through the workday, I've got you covered. Just let me know, and I'll send one your way.
Does this work in conjunction with Chat GPT, or is this a separate?
It's pulling from Chat GPT, yeah.
Okay, I see.
But it's just pre-programmed with a persona.
Do you have an account? I mean, you need an account with them, or is it you work off your Chat GPT account?
You can just sign up with any email.
Oh, okay, cool.
It doesn't give you as many prompts. So Chat GPT, the paid version, gives you 25 in 3 hours. This gives you like 5 in 3 hours. So you have to be a little bit more strategic when you're using it. And they don't have a paid version.
And they're working off Chat GPT 4 too.
Yeah.
Even though it's a paid version, you can still access.
Yeah. So even though it's free, they're actually pulling, probably got some investor money or something that they're playing with. Yeah. So, I mean, you could either send it just as it is.
Right.
Or you could say, hey, I asked my friend Starlord what I should say in this email. Here's what he said. So if you don't feel comfortable just sending it blind, which I would do, I would just send it.
I would too. There's certain prospects that would go directly out to, or just like that.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. And I didn't, the prompt was pretty simple. Cold email to a buyer looking for a first appointment. How would you write the email? Like pretty straightforward. I did another one. Let's see. That was on launching. It's going the other way. Got it. It's fun. So when I first found this, I asked, "What's the meaning of life?" to 3 different personas. One was Mark Twain, one was Jocko Willink, and one was I am Groot. And they all stayed in character. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
So here's another one. This I also did for you. Same idea, same prompt without the 80s music. Using Dr. Seuss as the persona.
Okay.
So I said, I need a cold email to a buyer in the composites manufacturer. I'm a sales rep looking for a first appointment. How would you write the email? So again, this is Dr. Seuss. Subject, a whimsical offer you can't refuse from composites to you. Probably tweak that a little bit. Dear buyer's name, how do you do? I'm Jonathan, a sales rep, and I've got news for you. In the land of composites where materials unite, we've got products that'll make your projects take flight. Our company is the best in the biz, and we'd love to show you just what it is. We've got fibers and resins all woven with care to create strong and lightweight products, I swear. From aerospace to automotive, we've got it all. Our composites will make your project stand tall. So let's set up a meeting, a chat, or a call to discuss how our products can help you enthrall. Just pick a date, a time, and a place, and we'll bring the magic of composites to your space. Please reply to this Seussian rhyme, and we'll schedule a meeting in no time. I'm excited to share our composites might and help your project soar to new heights. Best whimsical wishes, Jonathan Taylor.
Wow,
it's pretty cool.
That is cool. I love that.
Yeah.
The Dr. Seuss angle. I love that approach. Using that caricature.
Yeah, everybody kind of recognizes it, right? And if you wanted to like make it even more obvious, you could just throw a little picture of Dr. Seuss in there.
Yep.
And you could probably say, if you wanted to, like it signed off with Seussian, like the last stanza was a Seussian rhyme. You could probably add in the subject line. But I mean, people will catch on pretty quick as they start reading it.
Sure.
So literally you could go in and pick any of these, take that same prompt, which was just, I need a cold email. I'm going to copy that. I think I don't know if I have time left still, like on the, So, did you see one of these characters that you liked?
Let's see. Is that Bill Gates?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Wonder what Bill Gates would say.
I don't want to know. Beaker would be nonsense.
Do Batman.
Okay.
I like the Batman approach.
All right. So here's Batman. See, I'm over. I won't be able to do this for 7 minutes. So
okay.
We'll save that one. But
okay.
Now it got me to thinking, since it was pulling from GPT-4, could I just do this in GPT-4?
Mm-hmm.
So I did try one there.
Okay.
So check this out. I went.
You get pretty much the same results, I'm sure. I mean, because if it's pulling,
it is. I didn't know if it would, because I didn't know if the persona really needed to be programmed or not.
Right.
But I think what I was telling people on the training today is, it seems like if you can use more like pop culture references or very well known, either historical characters, fictional characters, pop culture, it does that better than like direct response. Because direct response is just not as popular. There's not as much out there.
Sure.
So if you can tie into pop culture, then it seems to really nail it. Like just nail it. Where if I say David Ogilvy, it doesn't always get it.
Right.
But if I say Taylor Swift, it'll nail it. Right. Because there's more to work with. There's more to deal with, all that kind of stuff. So check this out. I as you know, I used to work with Russ Ruffino at Clients on Demand.
Right.
I saved some of his emails from back when I was working there. So I was like, I wonder if Russ is an amazing copywriter. He's one of the best copywriters I know. And he's not even a full-time copywriter. He runs the business, but he writes incredible emails. So I pulled one of his emails that was in my swipe file, and I was like, I wonder if I could just get it to rewrite in some other style. So what I did is, at first I said, rewrite this email copy as if you are Yoda from Return of the Jedi. And I copy and pasted the entire email into the chat. And then it regenerated it. I didn't like the way it was too hard to read. You know how Yoda is. He's
right.
Like, it's cool for like one-liners, but a whole email is too much.
Yeah.
It was like reading Pig Latin. I was like, okay, stop, don't do that. And then I changed it because I'd already done the Star-Lord thing. So I said, rewrite original email as Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy, and feel free to work in 80 song lyrics. So here's the pure version of ChatGPT and how it changed the email. So first of all, let's look at the original email. There's this popular guru in my Facebook group right now trying to reverse engineer the webinar format we teach. Should I tell a story? Should I have bonuses? Should I have 4 testimonials or case studies or 5? And on and on. The guy doesn't get it. It's not about strategy. It's about who you are. Blah, 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 blah. Right. So it's a good email. It's great copy. Like I said, Russ knows his stuff. So, but if we wanted to put some serious humor to it, where does it start?
So did you take that, Russ Ruffino? Did you take that and just plug it in, or did it pull from? Okay,
I just copied and pasted it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where? Hold on. Let me start at the top. Okay. Do. Oh, this one I did in. I must have done. Somehow it's got. Sorry, lost. That's the one thing about chat. Like the setup, it's very hard to find your stuff. It's like a one long chat thread.
Yep.
That one was actually. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So here it is. Rewrite the story from Star-Lord as Star-Lord. So it says, "Hey Sean, what's up, man?" So there's this guru dude in my Facebook group, and he's trying to. And if you can like imagine the character in your mind, you can like hear the voice, right? And he's trying to crack the code on the webinar format we rock at COD, like a total maniac on the floor. He's asking, should I tell a story like every rose has a thorn? Should I have a take on me bonuses? Should I beat it with 4 testimonials, or maybe push it to 5? and on like the beat of a different drum. But dude, he's like totally missing the point. It ain't about the strategy, man. It's about finding the power of love inside you. The bogus truth is that 99% of those big name coaches are just out to take your money and run. They don't care about your results, dude. So it really like, it just nailed the persona, right? And so you could take any copy. It's kind of like funnel hacking. You can take any copy and really start to twist it and change it. And if I were to also then say, okay, change, right, when I'm done, I could say, okay, love that. Mm-hmm. Now change the avatar and change the product, and it would go in and change those things.
Can you scroll back up to the top?
Like very top?
Like, yeah, where you started.
With the Star-Lord?
Started, yeah.
That's the Yoda answer. This one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it remembers what you put in before.
Right.
Did I do another one or not? No.
The problem there though is if you start out using the 80s song references, somebody there's no context, so they may not know like exactly what you're what you referred to.
It didn't give me a subject line.
Right.
You could say a message from Star-Lord.
Mm-hmm.
On behalf of Jonathan Taylor, something like that. Right?
Sure.
You could there's actually one company I follow. They send these cryptic messages, like it's in the super woo space. Like they're, and they'll send stuff like from your guardian angel,
mm-hmm.
sent by, and the name of the business owner.
Okay.
And it'll say stuff like, because I can't type, I had Natalie send you this message. Here's what I have to say. So you could do some segues kind of like that to help out. Or you could just, you could say, rewrite in the voice of a pop culture, either a fictional character or a pop culture character. Got one?
A fictional or a pop culture? Yeah. Okay, so we were saying Batman earlier.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because we couldn't go to it. Question is, which version of Batman? Like 50 million.
Exactly. Yeah, is
this Michael Keaton?
Yeah. So this one's not as like, because I don't know how much personality Batman has. I guess that's part of the problem.
Yeah, there is none.
Like he's very like flat. Yes. So hey, it's worth playing with, right? It's like it's worth playing with. Interestingly enough, I did send this to I sent what I did to Russ in Messenger, and he thought it was hilarious. So he's all in on the AI. Like he gets it. He sees the power and he's learning it. So yeah,
Chris says use Alfred Hitchcock. Okay. Wonder what that would show.
Nothing like a podcast with dead air, right? We're rewriting as Alfred Hitchcock. Let's see what it does. It's come to my attention that there's a mysterious guru lurking in my Facebook group, attempting to unravel the I can't even say that word. Enigmatic webinar format. Yeah. We so skillfully teach it. COD. They ponder. Should they spend 12%'s kicking in? Should they entice with bonuses as bait? Should they showcase 4 testimonials or case studies or perhaps 5 to craft their narrative? And their curiosity continues. Alas, they fail to comprehend the essence. It is not the strategy you see, but rather the core of who you are. The grim truth is that 99% of prominent coaches exhibit a disheartening indifference towards your results. Their intentions lie solely in acquiring your wealth. They do not offer a simple strategy to follow, nor do they extend world-class support to guide you through the twists and turns of your journey. They have no mindset coaches on staff to assist you in navigating the fear, the overwhelming sensations, and the sheer panic that may arise when you are altering your life's course and striving for greatness. Like, yeah, I totally like it. To me, that totally nailed it.
Oh yeah.
Compared to the original. So it's a good way to have fun, to even take your own email, right? Write your own email and then stick it in here and come up with 6 variations based on pop culture references. And depending on how far you want to push it, you could say stuff like, and depending on your audience, know your audience. You could say, so, this would be fun, especially in like in the coaching world where, they're into meditation and even channeling and, all this stuff. It's like, I was in my meditation chair this morning and I got a message directly from Alfred Hitchcock. Right. And then you just, put it out there, or whoever your audience might like. Yeah. For me, it'd be, probably a lot of 80s references because most of my clients are familiar with the 80s. So anything like that, the song lyrics, any of that stuff. So it's just it's just absolutely amazing the different stuff you can do in here.
So, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Something to spend time with, I mean, seriously, you could go through you could get several variations with different caricatures and especially with you segment, and we talk about nostalgia, Sean. Nostalgia is really big right now, with a certain segment of the population that grew up during that 80s, 90s time frame. Yeah. So you take them back with some of these some of these characters from our time. It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah. Chris said try Rod Serling. It still knew who I was talking about. Even though I typed it wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really does well if you give it I'm just go ahead and stop it, but yeah, it'll definitely nail that, Chris. It does really cool stuff if you give it a template to work with.
Yeah.
So if you have somebody's site that you really like, you kind of like the flow, you like the structure, you could just literally copy and paste that and put it in here and then start changing it to match whatever personality you want it to match.
Yeah.
So and you want to make sure you're changing enough that it's, you're not just ripping people off directly.
Right.
But one of the biggest things with writing is just getting started. And this makes getting started fun if you approach it with this kind of fun way.
Yeah.
And it kind of just takes the writer's block out of it. You should never suffer from writer's block again. That's
not anymore. Not with this. Yeah.
Yeah. So just really cool technology. So you can either do it in chat. It's kind of funny to use the Forefront chat. Like I said, it's
again, chat.forefront.ai.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
Good stuff.
There's a new one also called Write Sonic. I haven't tried it yet, but somebody just told me about it today, so that'll be my next one to play with.
Write Sonic.
It actually has images built in.
Okay.
So once you get your copy, then you could just say, now create me a Facebook image to go with this ad. If you were writing ads, for instance.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll talk about that next week. After with our guest.
But
this one has and I have no idea like how much bandwidth or anything else it gives you, but looks kind of cool. writesonic.com/chat. So that'll be the next one I try. And they're all running off of ChatGPT 4, but they're starting to layer in these, widgets and stuff. And these, the user interface is changing with these companies because ChatGPT, OpenAI is so busy with the large language model. They're just trying to make the engine work. Everybody else is designing the car around the engine while they're building the engine. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to look at and just play with.
Cool.
So, but again, I think the big takeaway here is have fun with it. Don't take it so seriously. Don't get caught up in like, oh my God, I got to learn this just to keep up.
Right.
The fact that you're even interested in it puts you probably in the top 5% in the world. Like most people are not playing with this. We're in a world where more and more people are playing with it. You just in the marketing world, sales world, if you're a coder, it'd be a totally different conversation about coding using AI, which we haven't really even touched. So it's very niched and it feels like everybody in the world is talking about it, and it is in the press, but I promise you, most people that are even hearing about it in the press aren't logging on to try it, and they're certainly not using it. And even a lot of people using it aren't using it well. So they'll very quickly be disillusioned because they just didn't play with it enough.
Right. Well, that's what I've heard. I've heard even, guys like Scott Adams on his podcast saying, I still haven't found any use for AI yet.
He's like, that surprises me actually,
because it really does. I know he's kind of up to date on things, but he's like, so far, just haven't found anything that I find useful about it. But we'll see. But so he's probably in that toying stage, just playing around with it, but probably hasn't dug in like you have. I mean, you've spent some time on this stuff.
Yeah, I think it's fun, and I've actually written some stuff, used it to help me write some stuff for clients.
Right.
And,
right.
It's sped the whole process up. I think it ends up with a better, better end result. There's some one-liners that have come out of it that are just like, I would have never come up with that. One of our repeated past guests, Bill Mueller, Story Sales Machine. He sent an email today, and I just copied the whole email, pasted into I can't remember which. I think I did Dr. Seuss. I did Dr. Seuss. I said, change this email to using your voice in the Dr. Seuss persona. Spit it out. I sent it back to Bill. I haven't heard back from him, but it was absolutely amazing. If I were to try to do the same thing, I don't think I could have ever actually gotten it. It would have taken me probably weeks, of toying with it on and off to even get close to what it produced. I mean, it just wow. It nailed it in 15 seconds.
Yeah.
So you can, so I even see, like I said, write your own stuff and then use these personas to just give your email a little bit of twist, a little bit of brevity, a little bit of interesting stuff. Especially if you're writing to your list on a regular basis and, it's getting kind of stale.
Sure.
You don't know what to write. Just write something and then just turn it into a new character.
Absolutely. Change it up a little bit.
You could even change the from line, right? To where it's like from Star-Lord. And people were like, what? So,
and it helps to know that who your your audience is. So
they got to understand the reference.
Exactly. So if you know your audience is, as you mentioned, Sean, Star-Lord, if you know they're Marvel junkies or they love pop culture in the sense of, movies and those type of references, then you should definitely, incorporate that. If you have others that are more, maybe not so much, but kind of drift to other areas of interest, maybe sports personalities. Those are things you can look at as well. But
and as you're playing with it, like mix and match some ideas. Like, so you just said sports, right? So maybe somebody's a baseball fan. Maybe I take the same thing and I said incorporate as many baseball terms as possible into this email.
Yeah.
Right. And then it just literally like rewrites the whole email with strikes and outs and balls and fly balls and like no telling what it would come up with. Right.
Well, even in those, when you were going through those profiles of the forefront, I saw Babe Ruth. They had a Babe Ruth caricature.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
They've got all kinds of stuff in here. And Groot is funny because the answer is always I am Groot. Like it stays in character, but what it does is it'll in like brackets, it'll say like it's almost like screen direction of what his body movements are. So rolls his eyes, tilts his head, something like that. But it's always I am Groot, which I think is hilarious because it's writing character.
Yeah.
You got Taylor Swift. You got Agent. You like if you're into Marvel, we got Agent Romanov in here. There she is, Natasha Romanoff. Ben Franklin would be fun.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs, Han Solo. Like it's just so you don't have to think about it. So you start playing with these, and then just start like. I think this is where the marriage of AI and human can come in. Is like having this playfulness with it and letting your intuition kind of come up about new ways to combine and use AI. I think can be really fun and less threatening, and just it still allows you to be creative, but you're not doing the grunt work part,
right? Yeah,
right. Because it's pretty creative to say I want to turn this email into a Dr. Seuss email, and now you can just prompt it, and it does all the hard work of actually turning it into this long, basically rhyme, which would take hours or days or weeks if you could ever nail it, right? To get into that character. So pretty cool.
It is.
So a lot of talk there about copy and email and fun and all that kind of stuff. So just
really loved. Good stuff. I really, I love that, but I really love the emails.
Yeah, HubSpot.
I'm definitely going to use that for a little reference tool for sure.
Yeah, and it sparks a lot of ideas too. When you see that, oh my God, there's a big company that is talking about using humor. Like maybe it's okay. It's like it kind of gives you permission to do some stuff.
And those are emails you could run through AI as well. You could copy those, run those through AI,
and just get like 10 different versions or 10 different ideas. So it's. Yeah, so I think the bottom line for this episode is, man, have more fun with it. Just lighten up, have more fun. You'll be amazed at how well your list responds to that kind of stuff.
We've got a guest coming on next week, discussing AI and kind of a continuation of this topic of this fear and uneasiness about the future and everything. We've got a guy named Bob Hutchins. He's I know Bob. He used to run a company in Nashville, marketing company called BuzzPlant. He's an organizational psychologist, and he's an author of a few books too. One is Our Digital Collective: Anxiety, Media, Trauma, and a Path Toward Recovery. And also one, Finally Human: How to Use Digital Media to Restore Culture and Better Our World. So we might get into some interesting conversation there. He might have a different take than what we have. I'll be curious.
No, sounds smarter than us, so it's probably going to have a different take for sure.
He may be like one of those that want to put the brakes on it, but not us.
Yeah. No. I mean, I don't think you can. I mean, it's somebody's going to be using it, and if one person's using it, everybody's got to use it.
That's right. That's right.
It's kind of like nuclear missiles, right? It's like you gotta just arm up.
Yeah, and I think FOMO is another thing. I mean, it creates it. That's one reason. There'll never be the brakes. You'll never put the brakes on it because you always know someone else out there is getting ahead with it. So it's like,
yeah.
I'm not putting the brakes on it. You can put the brakes on it, but if I put the brakes on it, everyone else is going to get ahead. So
right. I mean, you see that with Elon Musk, right? He was like, "No, this stuff's terrible." He left OpenAI,
right?
And now that it's really catch on, he's like, "Well, I guess I'm in this game." So,
that's right. No, you don't have a choice.
So I think he just started X.AI.
Yeah,
is his thing. So
yeah,
it's going to be a wild ride.
I don't know. He's kind of seems like he has a lot of time on his hand to do something like that too. So
yeah. Well, I mean, Tesla stock's down, so maybe he does need something. gotta get that back. All right, man. Good show.
Yeah, good stuff. To all our listeners, persuasionbythepint.com. You can find us on all of your podcast platforms, Stitcher Radio, iHeart, some AI channel I'm sure that we're on now that's generating all of our stuff.
Yeah.
But Sean, it's been fun, man. We'll see you next week. Hope everyone has a great weekend. I'm going to get to a little meeting here shortly and hopefully have a decent time here in Chicago and get out of here as quick as possible tomorrow evening. So,
all right. Sounds fun.
All right. Take care. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
All right. Good stuff.